So first thing, we got to get the bucket on. Whilst you're flying along the road at great speed, can you please hit that subscribe, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up.
I was angry before, but I circled the drain in my mind. I can't find.
So, I have timed this absolutely perfectly because we got 2 fresh piles of chip and shred that have just come in. So this here, at the end of the day, is organic matter. And if you think about this logically, every forest, every wood, every, well, rainforest even more in particular, are full of this sort of material in the bottom, which gives it such a rich base layer. Now, we can't put this on in that form. It won't work, right? It causes you fungal problems in your grasses, so we can't do that. So this pile here, like the guys that bring it in, we just tell them to tip it and we'll sort it out. So this pile here and that pile there will go down here into the beginning of the pile for next year, which is, well, won't get spread this year. So that little bit of heat back there, which I know it looks like it's blended in with everything else, but the main thing is I know it's there. I'm aware of it, mostly because I put it there. So that will go on top of that, which will stay here until next year, and it will get moved around. The rest of it, as you can see, there is mixes. This is all cow dung from our own yard. There's cow dung from my cousin's place in the back, which has been there all summer rotting. There's bits and pieces here. So here's some tree shred that was just pushed up quickly out the way by my old man, I think, and hadn't been separated. But I'll quickly separate that with a big bucket now. Then, those who tuned in the other day, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 piles of horse manure that I brought back from the second of the horse jobs, or horse yard jobs that I did. So that's going to get pushed straight up. Those 2 are getting moved about. But anyway, back to what I was on about. Now, right or wrong, not really bothered, works for us. At the end of the day, what goes into an animal shouldn't be exactly the same thing. You shouldn't feed a animal just one species of grass. It should have a mixed, diverse diet. And the same goes for the ground. The ground, as we all know, can get sheep sick, you can get cattle sick, you can get horse sick in particular. Horse's piss, for example, is so acidic it just sends the pH balance of the soil like off the scale, so you end up having to put down loads and loads and loads of lime. Well, when you take that and mix it around, also the horse dung especially, that's well rotted, which I brought in the other day, so it's not really a problem. But if the fresher stuff that comes in will go for the same thing, it'll be composted for about 4, 5, 6 months, and that gets rid of a lot of that acidicness in the urine within the dung, if everyone's keeping up with me. And also mixed in with the others, it ends up a bit more balanced. We still put down a bit of lime, but not too much. But it's generally, as I'm saying, we're putting down compost, we're putting down a mix of various different organic matters, whether it is tree mulch, There's no grass clippings in today. There's 2 or 3 big landscape gardeners around here that do great big parks. They dump a heap of grass in here. So that's all going back in. And any of you at home that cut your lawn, if you cut your lawn and mulch your lawn back into your lawn, your grass grows like crazy. And that is the simplest way I can sort of explain this. So obviously we can't mulch our grass back to the ground because we want the grass for hay. But if we can find other things that are mulches that we can then put back into the ground for it, we are giving back, because we've got to give back nearly as much as we're taking, or we're losing out. And it's more losing out in the long run, because you're just taking away from the soil, you're not giving back to the soil. And this here, I know everyone wants to see the factory, everyone wants to see that, everyone wants to see all the kit we got in there. That doesn't make jack all without this. This is the number one most important thing on the farm, because if you aren't getting things to grow, you haven't got anything to bale. Like, you've got to grow it to bale it to then turn it into money. So this is basically, in my mindset, the most important thing we've got here. So now, I'll stop talking for a minute and I'll get on with getting this all sorted out, pushed up, and we'll go from there.
I was angry before, but I circled the drain in my mind. I can't find. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go down. I was angry before, but I circled the drain in my mind. I can't find. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go Let's go.
Now, something I forgot to say a minute ago, so I've come back over here where I've just dumped this, is that now, those of us in agriculture, lots of us think that we all do it right, but agriculture, gardening, composting, we're all trying to achieve the same thing, which is growth, decent soil health. Now, if you talk to anyone in horticulture and gardening, they always go on about like fibre getting fibre back in their compost. So that's the best thing with the mulch or tree mulch, is getting the fibre from the trees, letting that compost down a bit so it breaks down easier when we put it out, and giving us, like, it's also, it helps you give like a fluffier soil. If you think about that, when it's all mixed in, it gets in, it gives worms something to get hold of. Also, like, as you see, this is fairly clean top at the moment. This will be left like this for a few days, and then we'll cap it with some like well rotted dung to sort of get the heat really going in there before we generate it to like start turning it. But we're not overly fussed on turning this pile here for the moment. A lot of this dung is going to be cleared first, so that'll be sort of left. Then that pile will be moved to the back, where it will have its longest amount of time to rot down before this time next year. But yeah, so as some of the horticultural things I've listened to, where they sort of put loads and loads of things like grass clippings into a compost unit, and then they find that that becomes so liquid it's too high in nitrogen and not high enough in everything else. So that's where I sort of read up and learned on mixing in this, which almost helps bind it up for the ground, if that makes sense. But you know, it's just the way we do it. Like, if you look at this ryegrass field right now, which is, you know, for some reason deciding it needs to go to seed, you know, proof's in the pudding. But this field now is basically going to be topped. Is sacrilege, as some of you might find that. A lot of our fields will be topped through the summer, or a lot of our fields will be topped through the winter, ready for next year. Help like grass spread, use that organic matter that is there now to go straight back in. Few little areas of the farm will be grazed by sheep, like some of the steeper ones. Like, we just done it that way. One of our neighbours rents like right next to a little block of our ground, so it's really easy for him to move in. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that part of the tree mulch thing. Another example is like those of you that got loads and loads of slurry. Cotland Farmer messaged me, tell me if I'm totally wrong, but down here, everyone that I know that puts on loads and loads of slurry has to usually end up balancing it up with lime, because the slurry is so rich, and can make the soil go slightly more acidic or alkaline. Whichever the answer to that is, leave a comment below, because off my head right now I can't remember. Sometimes looking into a camera and trying to remember everything is absolutely impossible. Like, your head goes off in so many different places that you end up sort of tripping over yourself and making mistakes. So if I made a mistake there, absolutely apologise. So now I'm going to push up here the horse manure I brought in the other day. That's going to get flipped straight on top. So basically here we've got a big concrete area which we try to keep clear for anyone come to tip stuff, so they don't have to go out in the mud, make a mess. They literally come in, spin around, tip on the concrete, and then basically every 2 days we come down and clear it. pushed up. Ta-da. Not the most exciting video for machinery operating, but now the biggest secret to this is the heat. So this little pile here, right here, is basically another part of the pile. Like, I've just moved down the other end. It's not fresh, but it's like beginning of the mix phase. So this sort of corner back here in our dung or compost yard, this won't go out this year. But what I will do a second is lift this so you can see the sheer heat come out of it. So that right there is where the magic happens. So all that heat generated in there is killing seeds, so like weeds, stuff like that, so we can kind of sort of make sure we aren't putting rubbish back out in the ground, which then saves us money on sprays. Also, that helps generate all sorts of awesome bacterias, microbes, all sort of living in that at the moment. And that just, the heat in this is incredible. If I had the thermometer out, mate, usually it's sort of around about 70 to 80 degree mark. So, but if you see just down here, where I get my foot in it, where all this white fungus is coming from, that is what we don't want to put out. That causes grass problems. But that will go in like 10 to 12 months. So, but one of the biggest things of having to turn this, when we turn it, we've got to do so, one, not so much let the heat out, but let moisture in, because it tends to cap, right? So it can get so hot in the middle that if it, you know, right conditions providing well, it could catch fire. So that's why we turn it, and also mix it, get it moving. Compost likes to be moved, it doesn't like to be left. Also, you help air get into it so it breathes, encouraging all the microbes and that to do their thing. And then as it starts to cool down, your worms will sort of come in and help start breaking down. You know, at the end of the day, the earthworm is, you know, the farmer, gardeners, horticulturalists' best friend, because it is a little plough, and it helps mix all this stuff together and get you a good growing material. But on that note, I've got one more bit to push up or move around, but not going to bore you with that. So hope you enjoyed this video. It's only a short vid. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up. We'd like to start hitting 1,000 likes per video. That would help us massively. So, and it's free to do so, to you old guys. I'm not being ageist. Okay, maybe I am being a bit ageist. And if you would like to see more of us, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And on top of that, you can get merch, which I'm not currently wearing any of, on eBay. There are other merch coming soon, and we are thinking that we might take it or do it on a order-based system rather than just leaving it hanging on eBay. And then you guys can pick what you want. But without any further ado, thank you very, very much for watching. I love farming. Adam loves farming. Charlie also loves farming. See you in the next one.